different, and you're like, I was wrong, just wrong. Like this was such a bad read from me. It's nice to see what the pro teams start to do, especially because you can get free MMR on your pubs if you just copy what they do. That's the real way to look at it.
If you're able to figure it out fast. Or I feel like towards the end. I feel like there's always heroes that you can like kind of spam towards the end. Like I was spamming Viper. I went up 500 MMR, lost 200 of that MMR because I doubled down twice like an idiot in a row. So, you know, it is what it is. When you get to, you win some, you lose some. But SAG, like, that's the thing. Like, I wonder if they're going to be a team that obviously isn't as, I don't know if they're not as good. I don't know if that's fair to them. But, like, are they a team that's going to struggle to adapt or struggle to play these earlier matchups because there's more teams that have been together longer, that have gone through multiple patch changes, that have been there before? So, like, it's very interesting to see, like, how that's going to go down.
Well, they played against RN today, and they actually won. And I watched some of that series. I didn't get to watch all of it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they come out of off the bat today again. And especially for me, now it's captain's mode we're casting again. You know, you have this completely different ban system going on as well, so it'll be interesting to see which two, you know, what teams value the highest out of what they were banning. Because I think it's nice to see like a change up though, right? Obviously, the draft order's a little bit different now as well. You don't double pick in the first phase. So
yeah, I like that. I like that change because we saw a lot of like 1-2 punches come out where you kind of don't really have a response, and like that's big in a way. So now that it's 1-1-1-1, it's very interesting. And ooh, really? We're back to this.
Yeah, this is
IO gyro.
This is interesting. I mean, they love playing this Whistle on Aster, right? And they always have, because I'm pretty sure both the supporters can play it really well, right? I might be wrong with that, but Bo, because has been the one that plays it most of the time. I'm 99% sure of that. But yeah, so they pick the Wyvern in return, which is, you know, they know what's coming. They see the IO. They're like, okay, well, they're going to be picking some big hero to go with the gyro. To go with the IO. And I like this Morphling pick as well. You know, historically one of the best gyro counters there is. You can, you know, morph into the gyro, steal the flat cannon, nice and strong.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see, you know, especially because AA banned out of the pool because they were picking Wisp as well. What they see as their solution to this Morphling. And remember, there's 3 bans now. So IG, they've just picked their Morphling, and they are now 3 bans to cover it. It's not like last patch where there was only 1. Like this is a big deal. And so for me, I think first pick became so good last time because you had the triple counter effectively in a row, right? Obviously, you didn't have the last pick overall, but they've kind of made this second pick a little bit better now because you have you can respond in the first phase both times, but then you also have these bans to just cover yourself, like in phase, which I think is pretty crazy.
I look at this Morphling and it's just like, I'm not surprised. GGG is still on the GGG trend. But yeah, he loves this Morphling, and it's just like that's been one of his go-to heroes for so long that like I'm not surprised it's still in the meta. It feels like one of those heroes that never really falls out of the meta. But I'm wondering like what the other positions, like what's changing, because I remember at the beginning of the last patch, it was like a few supports felt like they were good, but towards the end of the patch, we had like 7 or 8 supports that were in the pool that like were very viable. Like things kind of expanded. Like even in the offlane, I think that patch started with like 2 or 3 offlaners, and then all of a sudden, you know, the range of what you're able to pick expands because you've been in the meta so long that you're just able to break it down so much. So like I'm wondering, our draft, like obviously I'm expecting drafts to change, but in which ways are they going to change? So like obviously there with Fly's Morphling, that's not changing. And now, like you said, they're able to pick it earlier and then back it up with 3 bans.
Yeah, so, I mean, it doesn't matter unless the patch just changes things massively. A lot of these, like, hero counters are still going to be the same as what they were last patch. Right? Things don't change, like, as quickly as that a lot of the time. Especially when we didn't have any like direct hero changes in the most recent patch.
Yeah, we're
it's
not
all like general gameplay.
getting those for a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when they're coming out, but I think that's the right way around to do it. I think it would be awful to just make such big changes as the way they have, and also change at the same time, assuming they know what the original patch is going to be changing. So I think, slow and steady, it's fine. Just wait to see how things happen.
Yeah, so we'll see what kind of changes from draft to draft. I feel like even in this event alone, like we're going to see like an evolution of what teams are going to be preferring, because this isn't the only event happening in China. Like you still have DPL CDA going on, where there's even like, especially a league like that, I know there's a lot of money on the line in that league, but DPL has been one of those events to me where it's like those are high prize scrims, and that's where a lot of the experimentation happens. Where like in these one-offs, it doesn't really feel that way, because you're not going up against every single person in the event like you are in DPL CDA. So I think a lot more of the realer strategies, if I could put it that way, happen here than in DPL CDA. So like I'm going to be interested in looking at that and seeing what they pick there and how that turns into something here. And I mean, it's still pretty much a bit of the same. Centaur comes out. Hopefully, Blade Mails don't do its thing after day one that we saw.
That point about DPL, though, you have to remember, like, DPL is more of a league, right? Whereas this is a tournament. So, you have more room to make a mistake in DPL and still qualify from your collectively. Whereas when you're playing, like, three best of threes, if you lose one of them, your group standing like position is going to change massively. So you just don't have that maneuver, like room to maneuver effective offs and stuff. You have to play, like you said, they play safe most of the time. They need kind of up for the relocate here, and they need like a little bit of team fight would be nice. But they also need something. They need stuns for the morphling as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the IG's already got like 2 stuns already. They've got Winter's Curse, which is more obviously ulti oriented, high cooldown, but they've got the Centaur Stomp. I wouldn't be surprised if IG go to like some 5 Winter Wyvern or 5 Rubik, because obviously that Rubik Centaur combo is still it happens.
Well, they just pick it even though it's banned. It happens.
Well, yeah, that's what happens. You put it into console, unban Rubik, make me look semi like I'm looking down at the bans that are on my screen. But Earth Spirit. Okay, so Earth Spirit, especially with Aster, that makes me, I would say, more Bobica, and then have Fate on the Wisp.
Really?
Just because Bobica is the roaming 4 is just kind of what I'm so used to thinking of in my mind. But
I think Fate plays an Earth Spirit pretty well, though, right? From what I remember,
it's both their top heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both on it. The win percentages are so close, because Bobica has 190 games on that. And actually, yeah, Bobica. So yeah, it's probably Fade. Now that I look at it a little bit more, just because I think Bobica roaming 4. But if you look at his heroes, it's Earth Spirit, Rubik, Wisp, and whereas Fade is Earth Spirit, Rubik, Tusk, and Wisp isn't even in that top range anywhere. Yeah, okay. So I guess Bobica stays as the Wisp.
We need to talk about this for a second, because this is important here. This Batrider coming out, on paper, you're like, okay, well, they've just picked Batrider to disrupt. That feels pretty bad. But if you look at the laning situation, they are laning. If they're probably going to have to put the morph mid now, so that they don't have to lane the morph against the Batrider, because they don't have anything to deal with that hero at the moment. Like there's no purges in lanes. Like Batrider can absolutely destroy either of these. So they need to be a little bit careful here on IG. I also like that this set for the relocate now that we talked about. They've got the roll in from the Earth Spirit, or they've got the lasso from the Batrider. I would assume this is going to be position 4 disruptor as well. We've seen IG do this before, right? But it could be either way around with the Wyvern still.
With the Batrider, I want. Just because I was thinking about Beast Coast who do it. They go mid Legion every now and then, which a 2 Legion, not awful right now. I feel like it's not terrible, but it's obviously like a Beast Coast special kind of thing.
But the thing is here though, Aster want to match up this Morphling, this Batrider up against the Morphling either way, right?
Yeah.
So they need to pick something here that can flex between off and mid, I would assume, so that no matter what IG pick in response, they know where the Batrider should be laid. And I'm trying to think of heroes that might work. You kind of want some like semi-lane dominator as well, I think. And they still lack a little bit of team fight. That's why I think this Kunkka band's so good. And they lack like cheap stuns as well. They need like a little bit of catch, I think. They have really good like chase potential and stuff, like with the Wisp movement speed, the rolling boulder, like this Batrider can just chase people down, but I think they need something a little bit more reliable.
They wouldn't do mid Earth Spirit right now, would they?
I mean, they could do. We've been seeing Thompson do it. It's started to gain a little bit more popularity. But then I think you just lose the lane against the Morphling. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that would, in my head, that's how it would go down at least.
Could you move Earth Spirit to a side lane? And there's the Viper. That'll nix that. But yeah. Viper's still popular. I'm happy.
Yeah, I saw... who's the RNG offlaner? Play this offlane yesterday. The Viper.
Oh my god, how am I blanking on his name right now? Flyby?
Possibly. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the RNG offlaner that played it.
Or Flywin. Yeah.
But yeah. So
artist formerly known as Flyby.
Yeah, like they can flex this if they want. The spell amp is really nice here as well with the Nether Toxin. Actually, does it still do spell amp? I can't even remember. I haven't been Viper in forever. I'm gonna double check that. No, it doesn't. Oh no! What a disaster!
Gosh, man, I'm
just ignore everything
at
I
this.
say.
I mean, I could do that. You had to ignore me saying Rubik, so we get one. We get one, and we're already using them.
It's
this
early.
Is first day, first BO3. Yeah, technically early for me. It's 2:15 in the morning.
Wow, is it late?
Weaver, okay. Is it? Yeah, I feel like it's more late than anything.
So I imagine they're going to tramp at the Weaver safe lane here, up against the Batrider.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what they actually go for if XXS decides to walk mid and play that lane instead. Not sure how I feel about this Viper pick though. You're playing against these two really mobile cores now in the Morphling and the Weaver. Yeah.
It's tough, for sure. And they move Fly to the Weaver, which is not a surprise. Both their cores play that Morphling really well. Obviously, we've seen Fly play that Morphling a lot. Actually, the most embarrassing Morphling moments come from me watching Fly, where he's like just all in Agi and gets like one shot by something early in the game. Or like goes all the way to Agi as something's ticking him down and ends up popping him. But now with Emo on it and Fly and the Weaver, like that's one of his better heroes as well. Like that's, I would say, comparable to his Jug with how good he is at this hero. Ooh. But I don't know if that's a fair comparison. His Jug is probably his best hero.
I don't know. I think Aster have to be playing from ahead this game, right? Because if they're not playing from ahead with like Batrider, Gyro, Viper cores, I think like if they start to fall behind at all, it's going to be really difficult for them to like find their way back into the game because, like we said, they don't have this great catch. Obviously, they've got Aster, which is okay. They've got Rolling Boulder, which is okay. Like, this Weaver and Morphling will just take over the game, and they're gonna really struggle to try and deal with the maneuverability, I think.
Prepare for battle.
So, going to be interesting with how this all plays out. SCCC with Bobica in the top lane. Nothing looking like it's going to change just yet. But would it be worth throwing Chuan in the off lane or try to get that matchup where Batrider is up against this Morphling?
I don't know, because problem is you're then playing what, like Viper into Weaver as well? Like it doesn't really work, right? You'd rather just give the Viper the solo XP, I think, now. If it had been like a laner that the Viper was better against in that offlane, then but I think
30 seconds to battle.
they'll probably just stick to the way it is. Also, oh, hang on, Fade. Can't block the boulder. You can't creep skip now behind like the tier 2s and stuff, right? So it'll be interesting to see if this Batrider has a bad start to the lane, like what his decision making will be. Like if he decides to try and skip waves still, like just behind the tier 1, because that's the range that you can now pull from. I think it's 1,000 range or something within a tower.
The battle begins.
The tier 1 tower, I mean.
God, we were seeing so much of that too, with especially Batriders. Let me just pull everything.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, you don't like having 3 of your creep waves stolen?
Absolutely not. It was horrendous. It just makes the game so unfun, right? Like, because the thing is, at least if you're pulling from behind the tier 1, you're at least a little bit more of risk of getting like caught or something from TPs or like whatever. Next to the carry.
Interesting duel lane mid. Ollie already getting caught, and he's probably dead in this situation for first blood. He will go down. This is throwback to the duel lane mid patch.
Oh no, my Dota is telling me there's a bounty room where there isn't one. Oh, I hate that. Much more important than first blood. Yeah, I mean this lane's really difficult for the Morphling early on, but like when you get to level 3, it becomes a lot easier, right? The 1 point in attribute shift isn't really enough to sustain yourself in the laning stage like it is later on. But Emo seems job so far.
You know, that doesn't really surprise me too much. But like I said, both the 1-2 on in IG are very adept at playing this this Morphling.
Yeah, but you know, Aster probably would have known this was coming though, right? When they picked this IO Gyro opening. Also, I want to say like this last tier 1 tower now feels so weird. It's a muscle memory, right? For like just remembering how much damage the tower did before. And so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to for a lot of people, I think.
God, it's so fast. Oh
yeah.
God.
But also because the damage has been reduced, it looks really weird. Like it's difficult to last it under tower if you're not used to it.
Nemo's already taken such an amount of harassment.
Is he in trouble? No, he's fine. Okay.
Go back into that agi, try and keep yourself back, salve up, value salve, and be back in. But both mids are going to salve here. And let's see how this goes for Chuan, because there was a point too in the previous patch where we would just see mids stock up on mana regen and health regen, and by the time we were at 4 or 5 minutes in the game, they still didn't have much net worth. And I wonder if someone like Chuan is going to fall into that mistake or that habit, especially mid when you're playing a Viper, where you're using a lot of that mana with the poison attack, especially if it's not doing enough to get a kill.
I find it really difficult to balance out how much regen I should be bringing out, like raw, in terms of like mangoes and stuff, and then just buying actual items. Because it feels like you overbuy on regen sometimes, and you're like, oh, I have no net worth. This is awful. But like this laning stage is going horrendously so far for Aster. Like this Batrider's not getting anything done in bot lane because he has a hard matchup. This mid lane's not going great for them. Like top lane, they're basically just trading. And JT doing this lane by himself, right?
Yeah, this is typical JT. Get the hard lane, do well in it, finish your lane even, be happy with your life, and then make plays. And this is one of his go-tos in the off lane for sure. It just feels like it's a hero you're not going to kill, especially now with the Ring of Hell.
Yeah. When he gets Vanguard as well, right? Like this lane's going to be just so difficult to kill him when. Like, they need a rotation from the Earth Spirit at that point, and even then it's, like, super difficult. There's a DD spawn top here as well. Both mid laners just rush for it. Oh my god, look at this damage.
The damage is heavy, but Fade actually misses that, and Chuan ends up dropping. They might even be able to get Fade if he's not too careful, but goes up the cliff, and Emo not looking to pressure too far. And what's interesting about that maneuver, too, you usually see it a lot with the 4-minute power runes, is somebody's got a bottle. But surprisingly enough, neither of these heroes had one.
Yeah, I mean, they're not really bottle heroes, though, right? I mean, Morphling is sometimes, but not really.
I mean, Viper could get away with one.
So, like, Viper needs mana all the time, right? It's not like you have nukes to work with, essentially, right? And you can't really use the active runes massively well.
They might catch Emo. If they can get this kill, that would be massive. And he looks like he's going to drop. And now Kaka's made his way in. Fade, yeah, he's under the tower, and he may end up dead, but at least Kaka goes down, too. So it ends up a 2-for-1 with Juan grabbing himself both the Winter Wyvern and the Morphling.
Yeah, good read by Tron the Aster. Trying to buy. Is it Fade actually on the Aster? I didn't even check. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Trying to Fade because the only reason you can get that kill is if you check that it has no mana.
Middle tower is under attack.
Overkick gonna nab the bounty rune.
So without either of these mids picking up a bottle, it's not that battle for the 4-minute rune. It's not that move over for the 5-minute bounty runes where mids leave a little bit. And then also you're dealing with the change to the camp that's near the mid lane, where we saw a lot of those mids maybe bail out for a second to get like a stack or grab that camp. Is that change as XSS dies as massive as it seems? Is it really just is it really such a slowdown?
Yeah. Good question. Like, I don't know.
It's hard to say this early, I guess.
Yeah, it's. I don't. The thing about me, like, for this small camp is like, it feels super sad for heroes like Storm, right? Because I mean, obviously it's quicker to farm, but like the gold you get from small creeps is so like low impact. Or just in general on so many heroes.
Juan again just getting really beat up. Kaka's here. Viper strike on Emo. The back and forth. Emo does get the kill, and now he does have a bottle with a regen rune.
Oh, he does have one. Okay, fair enough. So like the thing is, we talked about how this Morphling's so good against the Gyro. I mean, time you can just get on top of Viper and turn into him as well. You get the free break from the Nether Toxin, which like completely ignores his own corrosive skin. So Viper not anywhere near as difficult to kill as he potentially should be.
So hit that 7-minute mark. Got yourself the Ironwood tree. And then it's either mangoes or royal jelly. So we'll see if that comes into play here. There it is. Mango tree for Aster, which I think is fine. I don't know. I guess it's the way you utilize it, right?
I think royal jelly probably would have been better for them this game just because they have a wisp as well.
That's true.
But I mean, it's it's not insanely crazy.
It's not like the worst thing that's going to happen in your day.
Yeah. This Gyrocopter is having a very nice time. Unfortunately, his other two laners, especially the Batrider, are not. I really like that XXS is going Tranquils into Blink straight away this time. I think Bots is too greedy this game. They need him to be able to come online and just make space and make plays. We talked about how they need to be playing from in front, really.
Fade comes over. They're going to have 3 up top, but JT immediately with the Stampede. So that rotation comes in. It doesn't really do much for them, but fizzle. And then back to your point, yeah, with the Tranquils instead of bots, like bots seems like that kind of item, like you're having a great lane, you can go for bots. And if you're not, like Tranquils, like you said, definitely the better position to be in, go straight to that blink. Because sometimes you'll even see Batriders who are having such a good lane go bots into something other than blink. Like forego the blink till that 3rd item.
Yeah, I think it's less about how good your lane is this game and more about like we talked how they lack stuns, right? Like you're not killing this Morphling or this Weaver unless you have a blink on your Batrider. It's just not going to happen. He's going to make some nice little stacks for himself as well. And this mid lane's turned into let's let our position 4-6 as quickly as we can. And this Viper has rotated top, but they have stun. That just TPs away.
Yeah, especially for a Viper who's so slow. I mean, that hero does not have a fun time trying to chase anybody.
Yeah, like it's such a big time waste from him though as well, right? Like in his eyes, because like he spent so much time coming up here to try and make this play. Centaur just TPs away, and it's like, yeah, well, okay, Centaur's not getting anything in this time, but you know, neither was Viper really.
Fly sitting second on the net worth behind the gyrocopter. Again, we talked about the gyro doing really well, but then you look at the difference between the Morphling and the Viper. Morphling going straight E-Blade. Bottle E-Blade. We'll see if Emo can get to that quickly enough. He's got a couple of stacks here to work with, and JT's backed off himself as he picked up that Vanguard, and then Kaka, who is able to get a kill there onto Fade, and that's using that Winter's Curse.
Yeah, he did hit the level 6 first before the Earth Spirit from that mid farm before. So Winter's Curse ready in just before that 10-minute mark.
Yeah. That is the good thing about not losing your outposts before you lose tier 2s.
Something I want to point out, by the way, this Radiant off lane, now that you have the Ancients next to your lane, like, the Centaur Vanguard's actually so good, because it allows him to just farm the Ancients if he's having a rough time in lane as well. Like, he just has the ability to tank up if he has, like, points and retaliate, right? So, his net worth definitely starting to push forward.
This is so far so good for IG. Both these teams have been struggling, so like this is one of those early matchups that can really help you break out of a slump. Both teams getting eliminated in the group stage from Beyond Epic.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Hasn't been too pretty for either team.
Bottom tower has fallen.
I'm really sad because I was hoping we would see some crazy item pickups from the offlaners, but it doesn't seem to be the case here, unfortunately. What's this going for Mech, by the way? He's super close.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Still seems pretty standard with the offlaner, so at least for now.
Oh yeah, cheap points in tether overcharged. Interesting.
Dire's top tower
Down the mango tree, back in their triangle.
Just stacking the Ancients.
Haste.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
The whole time
Dire's
you've got
structures are fortified.
Fly continuing to farm, and it just seems like he hasn't been touched at all.
Just him, but Emo as well on this Morphling, who actually went Mask of Madness, by the way. What a time to be alive.
Dire's
So it doesn't even go for the E-Blade first. He tricked us, bamboozled.
I think this is fine. Like this Lincoln's build up that he's going for instead. Did he have triple Wraith Band before? Just go Mask of Madness and Wraith Bands.
I think he went triple Wraith Band to start.
I like this Lincoln Sphere is so good this game, right? Like the only thing he has to worry about that stops him from just doing whatever he wants is lasso. So, and if you look at the rest of the team, like they have no way of cancelling Lincolns, right? Apart from like first range and kick him, or if there's because the rocket from Gyro doesn't proc the Lincolns until it hits. So that's a big oof.
I really like that though, because Emo had a set item, was ready to go, and like obviously that shows the discussion. I don't know, it's that little thing, like was it just him who made that decision, or did he, you know, I would love to hear the comms on like, should I do this? What do you guys think? Let's weigh it out. Now he's going into the Lincolns, and obviously you're bringing up big pros for why he should.
But they have damage though, right? Like that. Is coming from the rest of their team. Like he doesn't. I think he has to go E-Blade this game. It's not like like they have big damage issues, and he's going to pick a rune top, which is really good for him. Helps keep his mana up to farm. Oh, JT accidentally blocked the small camp. Emo's going to ping that out and say, "What the hell are you doing, kid?"
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Get that mid tier 1. Looks like there's going to be a fight over towards bottom. Fly, who I believe has his Deso getting delivered, but Lasso on the backlines onto the Disruptor. They've got the call down with it. Ollie lays down the Static Storm. He might still end up dead, but he sneaks his way into the trees.
Oh no.
They'll use the Stampede. They've got the stun onto the Viper, Rolling Boulder in, as well as the Magnetize. This isn't exactly going that well for IG just yet. Desolator was finished as his fight was raging on, but they get the kill on the JT. They've only lost one. Kaka with the Winter's Curse. That'll hit on the Fade. Doesn't look like they have the damage to kill Fade in that Winter's Curse, but the damage coming in from Juan is enough to get Kaka. So a 2-0 in favor of Aster.
That fight was so weird. Like, there's like 2 separate fights going on at once, right? Where they managed to catch the Batrider in a static storm and a kinetic field down below, but the Morphling and the Weaver are just doing their own thing up on the high ground, where they're fighting into this Viper, who is super tanky, by the way. When this Wisp tethers to him with a mech, like, you're not going to kill that Viper like quickly enough. I think if they focus the Batrider down, play the numbers advantage, maybe it gets a little bit easier, but because the thing is, when there's these 2 separate fights as well, like, it's so much more difficult for Kaka to get a good curse on this Wyvern.
Radiant's
It
middle
just seemed
tower
like such a
is
split
under
fight
attack.
from IG. Oh, like one they couldn't capitalize in any spot. It feels really bad to be ahead and take that first fight, have that Desolator, have everything up, and not really come out with anything.
But like, in terms of like raw magic damage and stuff, though, right? Like, this dire side definitely have more. Like, there's Viper, there's Batrider, there's Earth Spirit, there's Gyro. So, if they're clicking their spells early on, they do have a decent amount of damage to, even if they're, behind a little bit in these early stages, they can still fight. But it's look at the list though. This Weaver has a Deso, and with the Swarm as well. Like, Throsh just dies, and unfortunately, without the knowledge, they didn't seem to know.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And take the Sages away with Morphling being very close to hitting a Lincoln's.
Be interesting to see whether he actually does it now, because he has Aegis. If he feels like he can go E-Blade.
Geomagnetic Grip on a Fly. He'll time lapse. Will waveform forward and an Adaptive Strike from Emo to get the kill there on a Fade and the Blink forward. Now Lasso. This is on the Disruptor with damage coming from SCCC to get the kill on Ollie. So they end up with a trade. I guess the question becomes, do IG want to reinitiate? And I guess without that Static Storm, it's really not worth it. You have the Aegis, you can sit back, reset, and go again.
Yeah, no need to force a bad fight here if you're IG. Just carry on doing what you're doing. Keep farming up, because as it goes to the late game, you'll be fine playing up against like this Batrider Viper, right? Like, neither of these heroes scale massively well. It's kind of only really that does.
Both teams getting a bit of a van brace right there. BKB next for the Viper. Gyro, he's going Ags. BKB, no surprise. Gyro still going the same build we've seen 100 times before. And what does Bobica have? He's got that mech finished, and we swap over the farm priority to Fade? Or is he still going to try and get himself into the Guardian Greaves?
I mean, the problem is, right, like, oh, hang on. Yeah.
Tethers over to Fade, but the Adaptive Strike comes in. Good blink forward with the Winter's Curse.
And they're going to Static Storm
Fade on a Bobica. They've got themselves a Static Storm onto this Earth Spirit, and they'll grab themselves a second. So dominating for Emo real quick.
Yeah, and he's almost got the gold for the Lincoln Sphere here as well.
Invisibility.
Does he have enough? Yeah, he does.
There it is.
Now
Now you're dealing with an Aegis, Lincolns, have the Mask of Madness. Like, things look good for Emo. And they're also looking really good for Fly. He's already into the Ogre Axe. Not too far away from getting that BKB. And I know I say that with a decent chunk of money still being needed, but it's not terribly far. I think especially with this Aegis Stampede over mid, JT, he ends up dead. They've got all 5 heroes here from Aster setting up on that one.
Have we seen Bobica use Relocate yet? I don't think we have, right?
No, I don't think so.
It feels like such a wasted, potential in a sense, right? Like,
fallen.
but again, it comes down to this sense that the Batrider's the only hero that can set up for it.
And they find Emo again. The question is, can they get the kill? There's the relocate, and with that damage, they'll take out the Aegis. Now the question is, can they get the rest? Winter's Curse and a waveform over at Chuan. Lincoln's gets popped by the Viper Strike. Kinetic Field is down. FlyFly trying to do as much damage as he can without the mana onto Chuan. He might be in some trouble. Bobica comes back over and gets the tether out. A blink away from XSS as well as the dust. FlyFly now time-lapse is back. The homing missile is going to be a great 3-man stun from JT. That was beautiful. Now the Static Storm. BKB's been popped by SCC. He doesn't have what it takes to survive. They've broken up this Centaur, but this is a save from Kako, or is it? Ollie and JT both die out. The venomous pool on the ground, and XSS needs to try and just leave as FlyFly, he ends up going down to Fate.
Wait, what?
I was looking over at the chase on XSS and FlyFly, how does he die there?
I mean, actually, that was a pretty good fight for Aster overall. I think. You know, you have to remember they got the Morph, so it's not like they just didn't kill him at all. They did manage to get that initial kill with the Earth Spirit Silence skill build. We don't see this very often where people go for 1 point in rolling boulder because it's like technically the hard lockdown, right, with the stun. But he really needs the boulder smash to help clear waves and things. He also needs the silence up against the Morphling as well. And he's going to get a nice double stack off there.
That was... I'm surprised. I think without the FlyFly death, that for IG is way better feeling.
I'm wondering if he takes the... Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if he takes the talent at 10 on Earth Spirit if he keeps leveling up the roll now. And he does just start leveling up the roll. That's interesting.
There are a couple of heroes like that who just forego the level 10 talent. And I think that, honestly, sometimes it's really much better.
I didn't think Earth Spirit, though. That rolling boulder distance feels really nice, but when you don't have boulder leveled up, like, to a really high level, it doesn't feel good, right? Like, you're kind of playing more around the boulder smash on the geomagnetic grip. So you might as well just keep leveling up the roll first before you get a talent for it. Reminds me of when if people play out and they go 4-0-4 skill build, and people used to blindly take the stun talent at 10 even though they didn't have stun leveled up. There's so many good ones I've seen before.
God, seeing that get ticked and then all of a sudden you're just like, come on, dude, you don't even have the stun.
Come on, man.
What are you doing?
Dire's top tower
Smoke here from Aster, looking through the jungle, but they're not going to find anything on this end. They've got a ward down in their end of the jungle that's about to expire, so that's just not catching vision of the rest of these heroes here on IG, just JT showing over towards mid. And they smoke as well.
Ooh. I was going to say, I'm surprised Morphling's not going for Manta for this silence on the Earth Spirit, but I think when Skadi has such good effect up against the healing, right, of the Wisp for his arm, or like even just the gyro, he's trying to push him around.
Dire's structures are fortified.
It's just a good Skadi game in general. Obviously, just gives you nice stats as well. Decent IM on Morphling. He actually mows through these towers.
Dire's top tower has
The thing now is, with the BKB now finished on the Viper as well as the Gyrocopter, it was definitely a fight that was on the edge of being one-sided for Aster in a bit of this, but
ooh, look at XSS.
now that I'm talking about that, the BKB's here for FlyFly. They've got the lasso out onto the Disruptor once again. If they can get the kill before the Static Storm, that would be great. There's the Winter's Curse onto the Gyrocopter. JT getting lit up pretty hard inside that cool call down. And with the Magnetize, he ends up ringing away. So Fade ends up dead. Ollie and JT gone. XSS, he'll fall to FlyFly, who time-lapses back. He's without the BKB, but he does have a 3v3. Look how fast Emo's moving. He's got a haste, but as he approaches the tier 2, that does expire.
I mean, the problem for Aster here, it didn't finish the tower, and so they have no tier 2 for themselves. Whereas if you look at IG side, they managed to successfully take that tier 2 top, right? So now it comes down to the outpost, which they actually didn't take top before. I'm surprised they didn't try and take it before us, before they came bot, but they kind of hung around top a little bit first. Just decided. Yeah, I think I actually have to be so much more careful when they take that fight, right? Because like Ollie knows they're going to be sitting up on that high ground on the disruptor, but you have to assume that they have vision there. Like you don't have wards set up yourself, so like playing around that high ground is really dangerous. Going into your own jungle, and this Centaur and disruptor just get blown up like straight away. And unfortunately, Ollie can't be the one that dies first. Like static storm's too important for them.
Found JT, they're going to relocate on him, and now they've got the geomagnetic grip that silenced him up, but he's already used the hoof stomp, so there's not really much for him to offer in terms of survival, and JT drops again. He had a fantastic start. He's really fallen off since.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he hasn't gone for hood this game as well. Or like, it feels like a super good pipe game. Like just pipe Crimson. He's gone Blade Mail instead, I think. Yeah, he has. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Up towards top. He comes back on the relocate, tries to tether away. They've got the glimpse. They'll pull him back. They'll get the kill. Easy as that.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And they're just going to go into Roche again with the Wisp dead.
Radiant's bottom
Gyro
tower
loses a lot of his power. They've lost their mech as well on this dire side. And Centaur's respawning in 5 as well.
They're thinking about it, though. Got Lasso. Blink in, look for the Lasso, now the Force Staff, and the Glimpse. Static Storm is down as well as the Winter's Curse. The BKB was popped by the Viper. They'll already take out Ollie. He dropped down his kit. They kill off Kaka, so 2 supports already out of this fight for the side of IG, and they need to back away as Fly snatch the Aegis, as Dire were the ones who got the kill.
Yeah, they're really starting to struggle to deal with this Gyro now, though, actually. Like, this SCCC Gyro is actually huge. I haven't clicked on his items in a while.
Radiant's middle tower is under
and I've just clicked and he has like what, BKB Butterfly Ags. They might be wishing they went for this.
Lasso comes in under the Morphling. He's in trouble. Flame Break pushes back.
Cheese.
He's got the cheese. Stampede's used. Emo trying to turn this. Whoa! He went all agi. They also took out the Aegis. They'll go after JT. They get the kill.
What?
He's dead too.
Radiant's middle tower.
He used Mask of Command. He got the attribution. Oh dear.
Oh, that's
No bueno.
oh, yeah. That's horrible. Wow.
They are really struggling to get clients on IG. Like this Wisp and like the Batrider and Aster are really the ones you want to be focusing, right? Like you can't just blindly run at this Gyrocopter, who now has a Paladin sword, by the way. Nice.
Oh gosh. Yeah, there are some tier 3 items for some heroes where you go, that might secure it.
Yeah.
That could be enough. Paladin sword is certainly one of those.
And now Morphling's going to have this BKB queued up, but I think at this point in his game now, even with the Skada, he's in real trouble. Like, I think he needed some defensive capability. I think, sorry about the Manta before, but unfortunately, seems to have gone all in. And now I think Aster actually have a really big window, even though we've had the Aegis, he lost it before, but. I actually think they're really strong on Aster. Like,
yeah, this feels like a part of the game where Aster are just going to take over, and it's kind of felt like it's teetered on the edge of that for a little while. Like IG get a couple of kills, but Aster still take out like Fly one time here, or they get themselves the Morphling a couple times here and there, and you know those are had helped them stay in it, and now, like especially that last fight, it feels like Aster are the ones who are very much in the driver's seat of this game.
Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Over destruction. That'll be some nice minus armor. That in addition to the Desolator. But it is difficult to defend. Even though this game is sitting towards even. It's again come down to the fact that they've been able to pick off Ollie time and time again.
I really just don't understand this Blade Mail Centaur as well. Like, armor's nice, so the damage is nice, I get that, but like... they're not just better items?
He's going BKB next, too.
No, I don't mind that. I think it's fine. Like, there's so much magic damage and just random stuff coming through, right? Like, they don't have right click. So, effectively, like, when IG do get the BKBs online, they are really strong. This Weaver has MKB now as well, so he actually, like, when he pops BKB and just stands there in a fight, he's really gonna hurt. Like, Wolf has Orb of Destruction as well. They just need to be able to get to this point where their BKBs are really strong. I'm really surprised Aster aren't trying to force them harder than they are.
Yeah, soon Nemo's going to have that BKB. You'll have a fresh one there. Gyro's BKB is down to 8 seconds. Not terrible there. Viper should be 8 as well. Things are going to look decent when you've got those extra couple of seconds for IG.
Actually, I say they don't have great right click. This, yeah, is really starting to push forward, isn't he?
He looks like he's certainly able to hurt. But Gyro goes into Scotty and finishes it. He is so farmed.
Dude, this Viper has an AC in the damage though as well. Like this guy's a joke.
Gosh, that is dangerous. Picking out the Viper is missing. Potentially just a stalemate till that third Roche, but I think third Roche being available probably benefits IG more than anything. The lasso gets broken. Now they've got it onto this Morphling.
Where are the stuns though?
The Stampede, and Nemo just walks away. However,
oh, he didn't take the talent.
And the Rolling Boulder away. Winter's Curse on a fade. Damage is heavy, but the relocate away from it.
The Spirit didn't take the Rolling Boulder talent. He took the damage. So, I was like, oh, that Rolling Boulder's going to hit. And then it was short. I actually think they get the Morphling if he takes the other talent.
This is a predicament. I want to say misclick just to give him the benefit of the doubt, but maybe just the greed. God, 50 damage too. Is it really worth the 50 damage?
I don't. I would love to know his thought process behind this. So I'm very unsure. I mean, Earth Spirit does click relatively hard, right? Like,
decent chunk,
but
not the worst attack speed.
Unsure. Here's the BKB now on the Morphling as well. So they have one on the Morph, they have one on the Weaver. And Centaur's 800 gold or so away from finishing his. So, there. To this Tribe BKB. One's just on the cliff.
That's going to be...
I don't know what's happened here.
Yeah,
spider legs. Yeah, okay. I was like, did Earth Spirit
what's interesting with the Morphling is, like, he's got that BKB 10 seconds. Like, even though they went after him, he didn't use that BKB. He'll have the 10-second BKB going into what looks to me, at least, like they're going to wait till Roche for both these teams. Yeah,
for sure. And I really hope they have clicked on this Morphling and checked that he has BKB, because it's going to come by surprise massively. Yeah, they're going to try and loop around here by the looks of it, and try and kill anybody in the jungle or they're looking to play under their vision top here, right? Like, but seems like, oh no, Ollie again.
Ollie again. Yeah, he's the target, and he's dead. He does have buyback, which is going to be forced to use the waveform forward as well as the damage going in out of Fade. They'll get the kill there onto the Earth Spirit, but look at JT. He can only tank up so much. Fly onto the back lines, pops the BKB, looks over. Can he get the damage out? Now he's got the time lapse, so he gets back to about full health. Viper Strike is used. BKB's been popped by Schwan. Coming back into the fight is Fade as Emo now in trouble. Triple kill for SCC.
They layered.
His curse is down, but it's just not enough. And the rest of the team is going to have to try to leave, but Ollie just brought back the damage from Fly and XSS isn't enough. And the full retreat is from IG. Aster come out ahead, and luckily enough for IG, it's a long Roche.
How often do we see a Morphling play a game where he just doesn't have raw damage to the hero? Like, Jarvis just stand out, and he's winning. Like, SCC feels like massively unkillable here. And at some point, he might just decide to build like a Satanic here. It's difficult because he might decide to go Rapier, he might decide to go Satanic. I'm unsure. A Paladin Sword, maybe he feels like he can just go for the damage, right, with the Rapier.
Is there someone he can morph into that'll help him whittle away this gyro? Is it just morphing into the gyro that's really value? That's Fade. He fought back, so a kill there for Fly and JT. 90 seconds. That's massive potentially coming into this Roche, although the timings are actually exact on Fade and Roche.
I would say, by the way, I've just like I talked about how the Gyro's winning the man fight every time. He has a butterfly, right, and Morphling has no way of getting through the evasion. So this Gyro is very difficult to kill just because of that HP, right? That the butterfly gives you. Mm-hmm. Like Weaver has MK, he can't. Be the one that's another survivability item first.
So again, both teams playing by Roche. Smoke used by IG, and they will set a bounty on the Wisp. At least Emo does. So they're gonna go into the high ground. They'll look for the stun. The BKB. Quick fingers there from Juan. Viper strike on a JT, but the damage coming in from Emo as well as Fly might be enough to relocate just in time.
God.
There's a split second away from dying, and that at least forces them back as Roche is about to come up. Trying to get that courier.
Can you hear me? I, for some reason, disconnected from the game and it won't let me reconnect. Let's have a quick doge.
Stun. Ooh, stun forces out the BKB from SCCC, and that's from the fact that he turned to the gyro. Fly will pop his own BKB. They got that kill into Bobica. He'll buy back. And all of a sudden, Aster, they're going to be without their BKBs, but I say that the Lincolns gets popped. They've got the last, so they have the damage. Emo! Oh,
he has no
dear. He doesn't have buyback. Oh, God. And he is short that buyback. Oh no. 70 seconds. I thought this was setting up for IG. All of a sudden, Aster, they catch Emo by himself, and now Roche might be theirs with an Ag's Blessing available. You have to make a play at this. You can't concede this.
I mean, they have no choice.
They have Winter's Curse. They could get it at the edge, but look at Chuan and XSS. Perfect positioning, blink away, so that's going to stop his positioning. However, they haven't stopped Roche.
Can they get the
Fly Spirit Vessel on him, and they get the kill onto him. Oh, no. IG. And they're going to get Roche. Oh, blink it, JT.
No way.
And the Aegis. I don't believe it.
He has no BKB TP though. There's a refresher on the floor.
And they wait. Did they kill Ollie's courier who had the Ag's Blessing on it? IG are swindlers.
But they have to defend, and they have no Centaur or Disruptor now. Like, yeah, great play they made around the Roche, but if they lose all their buildings for it, it's not worth it though, is it? Like.
SCCC, BKB forced out. Everybody around the horn will pop. There's SCCC. He can't survive. 100 seconds dead. They'll look over Juan. The damage is very much felt, but the Rolling Boulder comes in. They don't get anything, and there's the Winter's Curse. That sets up on an XSS. Things going downhill for Aster very fast. Because Fade, he'll be the next target. On the back lines, though, Bobica just escapes in the TP attempt away from Fade, but there's the adaptive strike, and 4 dead on Aster's side.
What just happened?
What?
I was busy trying to reconnect into the game at the same time. I'm finally in, but what just happened?
They stole everything!
Oh, the gyro went MKB.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Why?
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Top tier 3's gone? Are they going to go straight 4s? They're going to try and force some buybacks here. That's all they want. And with just a glance
Dire's
over at
top
that
barracks
4,
has fallen.
they get the
Dire's top
Vipers. They want the
barracks has fallen.
gyros. I cannot believe that they just pulled that off.
Well, they finally got into a position where the Weaver and the Morphling were just freely allowed to
Dire's
right-click the
middle tower
gyro,
has fallen.
which just hasn't happened all game, right?
Yeah.
That was so weird.
And the thing is, like, does Ollie need to build this Ags now? I'm pretty sure he picked up the Ags Blessing on his courier.
I'm pretty sure SCCC is going to really wish he built Rapier instead of MKB as well.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
Let me see. This courier is about to respawn. I need to see it. There it is. And yeah, Ags Blessing.
Oh my god.
That's nuts. And I think they're putting it on the Fly.
I think he's putting it on him. Are they? Oh, they are, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, no. Well, that's a smart play by Ali, because now if Emo does something crazy, they can actually save it. It's just that's the big brain
If he
play.
pops Mask of Madness, he's got a bailout of the century. Gosh. I'm still in utter shock right now.
Minotaur. Yeah, but this is a point in the game that we talked about where this Viper and this Batrider start to like not be, as strong as they were earlier on now, right? I mean, the Viper gets a lot better when he gets to that level 25 mark with the silence on another toxin, because that's a big issue. Like especially from some Morphling who can't really fight into it unless he has BKB, not as effectively at least anyway. But yeah.
He'll get a little bit stronger feeling with that Hex. Leveler's great for SCCC, who looks like he's setting up to buy a Divine Rapier, but he might just pocket the Leveler and hold on to the Witless Shaco, and if they can win a fight, put the Leveler in for buildings.
Oh, here's
Or even-
Shaco.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
What I've been seeing a lot of is just pocketing 2 neutral items.
What does this Weaver have coming out on his career? There
Should be divine
a
for
a
SCCC.
refresher on CAC. What?
Radiant's top
Yeah,
tower is
he
under
picked
Oh my
up
God.
Refresher the same time Disruptor picked up that Axe.
And there's a spell prism on the Weaver as well,
Dire's bottom tower is
for the
under
cooldown
attack.
reduction on the ult. So now it has a 12.8
So
second
time lapse is
cooldown.
just 12. Yeah,
Dire's
that's
structures are
okay.
fortified.
But Satanic,
You pick up the
BKB,
Divine?
there's a smoke here by the way. They put the high ground ward down on Aster.
And they've got the call down, but here comes Emo. He turns into the gyro cover. The BKB's move. Pop by SCCC, but on the backline's a good 3-man Winter's Curse. They'll do the damage on the Bobica. I don't know if it's going to be enough. The waveform coming through from Emo, though. They'll get the cone access as well as Bobica. Emo ends up dead. He's gone for 99 seconds. He does have buyback. The Rolling Boulder coming through from Fade as well as the Geomagnetic Grip. They only get the silence as well as the homie missile onto the Winter Wyvern. They look over at Ollie. They've got the damage. They have him surrounded, but how long are they willing to stay? It looks as though IG were thinking about re-engaging. However, I think otherwise, as when they lose Ollie and he doesn't have buyback.
They have this high ground ward the whole time, right, on Aster. Like they just see everything. But yeah, like really, like they put this ward on the high ground on the next to the cliff and stuff like tier 2 tower. To try and like at least when they're playing around the trees, at least they know they see everything. But Batrider just runs in with Fire Flare up and is like, "Hi guys, let's dance."
Do you know dancing's illegal in this town?
Emo did buyback as well, by the way. So this is like a big moment for IG. Like if the Morning dies once, it's pretty much over at that point, unless they somehow manage to scrape their way back into it again.
Oh. Courier for a second went over to the secret shop. Second thoughts there, and then Gyro going Satanic next. Thought he might go into the Divine Rapier with the way he was saving up his cache, but I think instead bought the Blessing for Ags and now is going into the Satanic.
I'm really surprised he's higher. Especially knowing that Morphling doesn't have buyback, right? Oh, he's not buying out. I thought he was going to go finish it, but he's just...
Yeah, he's only got a 1,000 surplus. That is certainly a tough ask. But Roche is soon. Just another 53 seconds. Stampede gets used. They're coming from behind. They'll get the Yules out as well as the Static Storm. Down onto this gyrocopter, and they've got the Ags onto this disruptor, so is it going to be enough? They get the kill on a boat because the BKBs are going to be popped around the horn. They kill off Kaka as well as Ollie, but they lose XSS, and now Chuan trying to do what he can on the Ollie, but it's onto Emo, excuse me. This does not seem like enough. They'll turn into the Earth Spirit, Rolling Boulder away. They've lost 3 heroes. They don't have buyback on any of them, and all they took was this Bat Rider.
A golden thread.
Now he buys out on the Satanic as well as the Hex.
That fight was so weird because like they managed to catch the gyrocopter, right? The Ags upgrade Static Storm, so he couldn't pop his BKB. But the Morphling and the Weaver, I think both went on the Wisp and Bat Rider at the same time, and they didn't go on the gyrocopter, right? So they keep this gyrocopter locked down for such a long time, but they don't do any damage to him because they don't have either of the right clickers on top of him.
Ollie back in 8. Winter Wyvern, short buyback. And JT, he's also short the gold. I think luckily enough for them, Roche is almost up. But I don't know. Aster definitely thinking about either going for more buildings or turning around, as now they've put the leveler into the hands of SCCC and he rips through these buildings. But Satanic is popped. They're going to go on him the second this is off. At least that's what they thought they wanted to do. You got to be careful with Chuan, who does have that Nether Toxin silences. BKBs pop by both. Relocate to the step aside. Emo wanted in, and now the rest of the team wants to follow this up in some shape or form. I'm not certain how, but at least they'll find Bobica, and that's very big. 100 seconds, no buyback. Roche is up in just 60.
I mean, the no buyback is huge here. Strikeup loses his little friend, unfortunately.
A gift from the tempest of battle.
This has just been back and forth constantly.
Roche is up in 40 seconds as well. Yeah, they're going to find the courier, the kinetic field. Oh, never mind.
Too strong.
Zoom, Panda. Let's go. I assume Jai has to go Rapier now at this point, I think. I'm waiting.
Jules, BKB, JT gets the stun onto the gyro. Now they're going to wait for him forward with the silence from the Nether Toxin, but is it enough to kill the gyro? He's low, BKB, and it just does not do enough with the Satanic. Looks over at Chuan. Look at the damage. They kill the Viper. They find their attention now on the Fade. He'll Rolling Boulder away, but Great Winter's Curse, that locks up too, and they just bought back on the gyro. They lose him again. This game is more than over for them, and they will. So 2 minutes gone. Down goes Fade. Make it the last one as XSS is on the run, but can't get far enough out. GG is called by Aster. IG take game 1, and I mean, that was a roller coaster back and forth until that last fight. I mean, it could have been anyone's game.
I mean, that third Roche was the big one, right? Where IG managed to sneak into the pit, take their feet, right?
They took everything. Yeah, they got the Aegis, they got the cheese, and Ollie swipes the Ag's blessing.
I don't know. If I go back and watch that at some point, decide like what made that high ground fight go so badly for them, where they ran up into IG's high ground and the gyrocopter just died. It felt like nobody pressed any spells to help him, right? It was so weird. But yeah, I mean, not convincing from IG. They took a load of really bad fights early on where the disruptor died first, like nearly every single time.